Alright, part 1. Identify the horizontal and vertical asymptotes and the domain and range for these rational functions. Alright, so we've got a horizontal asymptote right there and a vertical asymptote right there. Remember that the horizontal ones are y equals, and then it's whatever number they cross right there, which looks to be the number 1. The vertical asymptote is x equals, and it appears to be crossing right there at 2. Those two numbers relate to our domain and range. The domain is basically all the x numbers except for this one, because the graph just does not want to go past this vertical line. So it's left of that line and to the right of that line, so we can basically say all x numbers smaller than 2 are good, and all x numbers greater than 2 are good. In words, you can just write all real numbers except 2. The range is very, very similar. So the range is all of these numbers above the number 1, above the asymptote, and all the numbers below that, and again that's the number 1, so we'd say all y numbers smaller than 1, or all y numbers greater than 1, that's what we want. Again, if you want to just put it in words, that would be all real numbers except 1. And that's the end of number 1. Number 2 says we've got some decimals to deal with here, but so again we've got a horizontal asymptote right there, and that appears to be crossing, let's see, these are counted by 1, so 1, 2 and a half maybe, so I'm going to say y equals 2.5, right on the edge of the screen there, sorry, y equals 2.5. Furthermore, we have the vertical asymptote, which appears to be crossing down there at, let's see, what is that, 1, 2, so in between 1 and 2. So that would be x equals negative 1.5, and that's our vertical asymptote. So here the domain is all x numbers to the left of negative 1.5. Also all the numbers greater than negative 1.5. Okay, time for the range. That is the y numbers. We want all the numbers that are smaller than the horizontal asymptote, which is at 2.5. We also say all the numbers greater than 2.5. Don't pay too much attention or be confused by the word or on all of those. That's just the word that we need to use. I could explain that more in detail another time. Just use the word or. Alright, let's move on. So here we have a problem. Just for the record, this is the same question that was on the previous homework assignment. That was an accident. So here we go. We'll do it again. We have a right triangle. A right triangle has one right angle, and it says that one side of it is 4n minus 2, and the side perpendicular to it is 2n plus 4. So remember, perpendicular means 90-degree angle. So that means they're telling me that one of the sides is 4n minus 2, and the other side is 2n plus 4. We don't care about the hypotenuse. This side's not going to be a factor in the problem. It asks us to write an expression for the area. Remember that the area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. And so in this case we have the base here, and this is the height right here. It turns out just because you're multiplying it doesn't matter which one's which, but here we go. So 1/2 times the base and times the height. Now, a little bit weird with what to do with this 1/2 out in front. It turns out you can distribute that 1/2 into just one of the sets of parentheses, but not both. Just one of them. So I could just do a little multiplication right there. 1/2 of 2 would be 1, and half of 4 would be 2. So that at least like shrinks those numbers a little bit before I do the rest of the multiplication. Remember, that's parentheses times parentheses. That's double distribution or foiling, whatever you want to call it. So n times 4n, n times 2, all those things. So we get n times 4n is 4n squared, and a negative 2n, and an 8n, and 2 times 2 is 4. Those middle two numbers are like terms, so you get 6n out of that, and it's easy to see that C is our answer there. Well, that's the end of that problem. Alright, so here we have a problem asking us to factor. That's the key word there, and there's only one way to do this. There's no guessing at the answer to this. You either know what you're doing or you don't. We have a squared plus 7a minus 18. This is where we are trying to turn this into two binomial factors by looking and seeing what two numbers multiply to make 18, and say negative 18, that add up to the middle number 7. So you can go off to the side and sort of think about the number 18. That's like 1 times 18, or 2 times 9, or 3 times 6. Which one of those pairs can somehow make a 7? Well, it turns out it would be 2 and 9, but you want it to be negative 2 and positive 9. That's the other alternative there. So those are the ones we want. So we put a minus 2 and a plus 9. And if you look over at these answer choices, they're only giving you half the answer choice over here. So there's the a minus 2, there's the a minus 2. That is definitely the one. Notice there's some distracting ones just in case you get it mixed up. There's the 9 and there's the 9, just to be tricky about it. They do that to disguise the answer on like a multiple choice test. So it makes you have to basically know what you're doing. There's no shortcuts. Alright, that's the end of the homework. Hope it helped.